that didn't work. I went to just normal. I wasn't even full on accelerating. I was just trying to accelerate on the on-ramp, maybe half throttle, and flip the camera over. So that was not a successful adventure. I'm gonna have to find a more stable platform to try to video driving. But I got it back on, I got it setting back up. So I'll try one more time to make it back to the house. Must be one of them times of day when people are coming out home from work. A lot of traffic all of a sudden. This is a weird intersection, so you gotta be careful. Through the very first tank of gas that we put in it. I'm absolutely happy with the mileage on this thing. It's so much better. It's so much better than what it was with the old motor. It's just crazy. I was a little hesitant on my startup because I thought the car was going to pull out in front of me. Plus, on this wet road, it's real easy to spin when you're taking off. Now, this thing would have no problem at all laying black marks, because it'll do that even just rolling into the throttle in first gear. It's only got a 295 first gear in the transmission, but with my 342 rear gear, that gives it with the 28-inch tall tire, 342 rear gear, 295 first gear in the tranny, that gives it the equivalent of a 380. It was a 380, a little bit over. Like, I want to say it was like a 384. 385 gear ratio in first gear. That's pretty good. I still, because the overdrive cuts it down so far, I'd really like to put the 373s in here when I do my 8.8, because man, when you go into fifth gear on the highway, even at 70 miles an hour, it's not turning hardly any RPM. And I don't know if that's going to be efficient or not. You know what I mean? When you start looking at where the engine wants to be loaded, where it's not going to bog and, you know, kill your main bearings. Because you never want to put too much load on the engine at too low of an RPM, because it'll put a lot of wear on your main bearings and your crank, especially with a manual transmission. But once I get my tack in here, I'll be able to verify, because I'll bet you it's 2,000 RPMs or less. Sorry about that. Cruising 70 to 75 miles an hour in fifth gear. Because I mean, you literally don't have to come just I don't want to say a bad word, but just a slight amount above idle, just barely give it throttle in fifth gear to cruise 70 miles an hour on the highway, which is way different than what it was before. Because before I had to do 3,000 to 3,100 RPM just to barely go 70. Because at 3,000, most of the time on level ground, I was running 67. So this new setup is literally just like a blessing when it comes to RPM on the highway and all that nonsense. sense. I always put it in reverse when I'm parked because I don't want the damn thing rolling down the driveway. But I was going to reiterate to you guys, my dash got ate by my dog. Now, I mentioned this in one of my first attempts at doing my driving video, but then my friend Richard showed up to pick up a starter that I warrantied out for him. But this dash, with the exception of one crack, was mint. Didn't have any, problems. Had the front was in good shape. Just needed some armor all and some conditioning. That little black dog that everybody loves so much. 2 years ago, I left him in this car. It was middle of winter. It was really cold. I had to go up to certified cars, and I didn't want to take him in because he barks and won't stop. So I thought, well, I'll just leave him in the car because the car's still warm from the heater running. He'll be fine. I left that little dog in this car, I swear, 30 to 40 minutes tops. Because, I get into certified, and of course we start talking cars or whatever. We're having a conversation. Time kind of flies. 30 to 40 minutes later, I'm like, hey, I got to run. I'll holler at you guys later. I walk out and open the door on my Blazer. I was so mad because literally both floorboards and the seats were full of my dash where that little dog had taken bites. His little mouth bit chunks off all the way across this dash. And those little chunks of plastic and whatever this foam crap is was everywhere. And I literally was so mad that I just shut the door and walked away because my initial instinct was, I'm going to kill this dog. Like, I was so mad when I opened the door that I was like, I need a timeout. I walked back into certified, and they could tell I was pissed. So they're like, did you forget something? I said, no. I said, I didn't forget anything. I said, why don't you go out there and look at the dash in my Blazer? Andy runs out, and I could hear him laughing outside. He comes back in, and he goes, that effing dog just ate the dash in his car. And of course, nobody could understand what he actually meant but me. So then, one by one, everybody in certified went out there to look at this dash, and they're like, oh, that dog's dead. You're going to kill that dog. And I was like, I'm going to have to do some serious soul searching. Maybe say a prayer. Because I'm not thinking too good at this moment. So I'm just going to sit in here for a minute and kind of breathe. Oh, it was, because a new dash pad for this stupid car is, I want to say it's $320 or $350 from LMC. And I'm just like, maybe that's God telling me that I needed a new dash pad. Now, they do make a cover that'll go over the entire, it covers this lip all the way to the windshield, both sides. Hard, to me it looks like an ABS plastic cover. I can put on here for like $125, and that's probably what it's going to get, because I don't see me having the extra $350 here anytime soon to do the whole pad. But every time I get in it and I see that dash pad, I remember I love Jesus, and the dog should be happy that I do. Anyway, that's my video on driving in the car. I'll talk at you guys later.